So, if no one noticed, just like to remind everyone that Wizards of the Coast had keyworded some abilities. For example, on Dredge used to put cards into from the library into the graveyard, and they decided to keyword this into mill. So if we look up something like Life from the Loam, let's look up Life from the Loam for a second. It's got Dredge 3, and the original text would be, if you would draw a card, instead you may put exactly 3 cards from the top of your library into your graveyard. But they decided to errata this. Like, that's a lot of words. Put 3 cards from the top of your library into your graveyard. Can we, like, shorten this down a little bit? So now it is, if you would draw a card, you may mill 3 cards instead, because we all understand that if we're putting cards from the top of the library directly into our graveyard, that's called milling. We mill it. It's a weird interpretation of mill, but I mean it is true. We're putting cards from the top of our library into our graveyard, even though we're dredging. So they decided to keyword this. Now here's the deal. Gavin Verhey recently says, what's a commonly used line of text that you wish was keyworded in Magic but currently isn't? For example, how they finally keyworded mill. And that brought up a lot of... This is interesting, actually. Discard. It can be just discard X. I never thought about that. That is amazing. So, I mean, we look at, like, I don't know, Thoughtseize. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. It could be like target player reveals their hand. Discard. You choose and discard, I don't know, non-land card from it. It should be a little bit, or I guess you could just say, instead of that player discards that card, just discard it or something like that. Discard that card. We should know what it is, what it means when you just go discard. Activate only as a sorcery. Could be keyworded as source. That could be a keyword. What do you guys think? What do you guys think could be something that could be keyworded here? We got keyworded sorcery speed. And also summoning sickness officially isn't a term, if I remember. This card gets too specific in some cases, perhaps. I believe, what's it called? Summoning sickness isn't even an official term. I heard so cannot be blocked by creatures power 2 or less needs a name. Oh yeah, it was like can't be blocked by power X or greater, can frame it similar to ward, but exile target creature, then return it. So we're seeing abilities that we want a keyword, but not the explanation. So someone said like flicker would be a good one for this one. Exile target creature, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. What do you guys think? How do you differentiate between random discard or selected discard? You could say discard at random, or discard that card. Discard X random cards. Or discard 3 or something. Discard 3 at random. Spencer Ward, call when a card is removed from the game and returned to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. Slide? Hey, maybe. Or we call it Wisp, because that was the Flicker Wisp, right? That's the Flicker Wisp ability. But we can't use Flicker. You want to call it Slide? Oh, we could call it Slide. I might call it Wisp. We'll wisp it back. Yeah, I think Blink sounds weird. Well, I mean, it doesn't sound weird. It sounds weird to be a keyword. It sounds like slang to me. Blink, but I mean, I'd be fine with that. Haste used to say this creature is not affected by summoning sickness. Exactly. It's so they're I think maybe Wizards, they want to fit even more words on the card. And if they want to do that, what do they have to do? They got to reduce the box size. They got to reduce the number of words that they're using in the box to make room for more words. Daniel says, I like impulse draw, such as light up the stage or expressive iteration to be keyworded. Is it? Oh, you mean like the cards are exiled temporarily, and you can like play them until your next turn? Okay, so take out look at this take. Tommy Sidden says, too many evergreen names are going to eventually make this game too complicated. You know what, Tommy? In theory, that is correct, but in practice, that has not seemed to have mattered. This game is like, well, we're getting close to 30 years, and it is brutally complicated up to this point. Like, Magic is ridiculously complicated, and it doesn't seem to matter. Just absolutely doesn't seem to matter. I mean, you just look up the keyword. Now we got Google. It might have been a problem back in the day, like, without the internet. I imagine, like, learning the rules to Magic was a problem, but today, like, you just look this crap up and that's it. Reduce casting cost of spells keyword. That could, well, but what would you? Okay, you're recognizing what it should be, what should be changed. But what is the name? What do you name that thing? Reduce. Banding. Well, that is a keyword for a real thing. No need to keyword reduce cost is already quite simple, not wordy. Hey, you never know. Magic in like 2052, they might need every little square centimeter of that space. You could call it discount. That's right. You could call it discount. You could call it affinity. Trevor says, we were all able to learn the game back in the day without the internet. Of course, we had these things called friends, and we met in person, yes. And those friends didn't know the rules very well. But we played the game anyway. Until you run into a tournament, and then you realize everything you knew was all wrong. Just call draw and discard looting already? Yeah, that's totally fine. That should be a keyword, yeah. Loot 2 or something like that. Back in the day, we had to rely on the Duelist and Scry magazines to assist in rule changes and bannings. And prices. Man, like the prices in those Scry magazines? How did they determine what was a low and a medium and a high? Like, I have no idea. Did they just go to their local game store or something? Bounce! I think that is good. Bounce target, bounce target creature, bounce target land, returning any sort of permanent to their opponent's hand. That's a super long keyword. I like that. And we call it bounce. Bounce this, bounce that. Is there an actual card called bounce? No. Well, we have a bouncer, waterfront. Is that the origin? Is that the origin to bounce? Waterfront bouncer? Return target creature to its owner's hand. Yeah, full text full text creatures and spells coming in. We have this, it's a small little book on a card with so many abilities. That's fire design. I mean, I imagine one day, yeah, the card is full text and some hologram shows up. Just can project itself to show its image. Dumpster Fire says, if I recall correctly, Morrow stated that if instants didn't exist, he would have never created them and implemented them as sorceries with Flash, so that all those cards that care about instant sorceries just care about sorceries? What? I never heard of this about Marrow. He would have never have created them. Oh, wait, he doesn't like instants and the implementation of them as sorceries with Flash. So in Mark Rosewater's world, we should all be playing at sorcery speed. Interesting. Here's a secret. The prices in Scry magazine were arbitrarily made up. Nothing really changed since then. Well, I mean, if you're talking about Scry magazine, is Scry magazine still posting prices? That would be so funny in this modern day age of like mtgstocks.com and MTG Goldfish data and like real sold data from like eBay. Scry magazine is still arbitrarily showing the prices of cards. Imagine them doing that right now. Like today, like the whole magazine might be prices of Magic cards. They might even have Scry, the finance Scry or something like that, like a whole magazine dedicated to the prices of Magic cards, because like there are so many Magic cards right now. It'd just be stupid. Just absolutely stupid. Anyway, welcome everyone to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic the Gathering, the most interactive MTG stream on the internet. Get your questions fired up. Let's have a great discussion this morning. And also we do deck list reviews. So if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, submit it to us, and both myself and the coffee crew would love to give you that feedback. So brew up your coffees, coffee crew. Let's brew up some Magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for October 6, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. Good morning, Cithrone. Good morning, the Wim Marvin Project. Good morning, Gold Medals, Dumpster Fire. Good morning, Francis, Tiago. Good morning, Steven, Golf, Mareep King. Good morning, Someone, Somewhere, Blizzard. Good morning, Lord Magicus. Good morning, Keith Stoltz, Aztec Guy. Good morning, everyone. All right, let's get through our sponsors before we forget. I'm not gonna get in trouble anyway, but whatever. FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week this week at Fusion Gaming Online. You're my one-stop shop for all my singles and, well, basically everything. Save 15% off Urza's Saga, Legacy, and Destiny singles. So, you know, basically showing off a bunch of reserve list cards here. You know, we got the Sanctum, we got Gilded Drake, Replenish, Memory Jar, Time Spiral, Yavimaya Hollow, Grim Monolith. They're just reminding you, hey, reserve list cards, they can get discounts, and the discount this time is anything between the Urza block. All the busted Urza cards, 15% off this week. But, of course, you can get an additional 5% off when you use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. Supports the channel, saves you money. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place for renting Magic cards online. And for the deck brewer out there, Mana Traders is a game changer, because any deck that you can possibly imagine, you can rent it with Mana Traders. And if it's off by 10 cards, you send the cards back, and then you rent another 10 to make the perfect deck. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. You guys don't know this, but I almost knocked over my coffee right there. That would have been a disaster. I would just end the stream on the spot. All right, you know the drill. 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question. Helps me find your questions amongst all the comments. Then I'm getting on my social media channels. I see out there Zal Hollow. You hit the like button. It helps. Probably. Says somebody. Maybe. it helps. Probably. Said somebody. Maybe. Ooh, yeah, ping is actually a great example of the difference between player slang and keywords. We should have ping. You gotta tell these to Wizards of the Coast, though. You know, Wizards... I mean, someone from Wizards maybe watches my show. I don't know. You're probably not allowed to acknowledge it. It's all good. I'm not offended. Keith Stoltz gets -1. -1 could be weaken 1. Oh, yeah, that's true. Dismember could be weaken... I got the sponsors. I did it. Don't worry. 27 Noetic. After playing a few of the submitted decks on your other channel, which ones were better than expected and actually competitive? After playing the submitted decks, I think that the Zombie Bombardment deck with Goblin Bombardment was very strong. So, and I'm just gonna run it back. I thought it was great. I'm gonna run that deck back when we test zombies. I thought that zombie sacrifice deck was gas. It was so good. Maybe I'll change something, but I really thought the zombie bombardment was really strong. Just stupid strong. We've got our first super chat, because by the way, if you're on YouTube, you can donate with super chats and your question gets immediately pushed to the top of my feed. Thanks for reviewing my vehicle deck. I started making changes. Any suggestions for artifacts for sideboard to use with Karn, like liquid metal coating? Some standard ones are like Walking Ballista. The standard is like Ensnaring Bridge, Liquid Metal Coating, Ensnaring Bridge, and maybe Walking Ballista. Those are like some really basic ones. And you could probably have Torpor Orb, because I don't think your deck relies that much on Enter the Battlefield effects, so Torpor Orb would be a good one as well. Torpor Orb is the one where creatures entering the battlefield don't cause abilities to trigger, but that you're a vehicle deck, so it doesn't. I don't think it changes anything. I think it changes very few things. And like Ensnaring Bridge, you might think it's a non-bow in your deck, but then there's going to be some matchups like Amulet Titan, where maybe you can't race them at all, and you're going to just want to grab the bridge, play the bridge, prevent the Titans from attacking you, and then you just try to win with like Liquid Metal Coating or something, strip all their lands away. And then like hit them with a Walking Ballista. You just like try to control the board is what I'm saying. I don't know if Ensnaring Bridge is the card that you need, but like it's a pretty popular tutor target for Kron the Great Creator. But I think Torpor Orb is a pretty good fit for your deck. Just at least one sorcery with flash, Crashing Tide. Crashing Tide has flash as long as you control a Merfolk. Return target creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. This is hilarious. This is like a really bad card. Because there's already... Isn't it Repulse? Isn't this just a very bad Repulse? Return target creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. Like, what's wrong with this? It's the same thing with drawback. Anyway. Oh well. Pump. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. I don't know if that works so well because people look at pumps. I mean, we could have a keyword for this, that's for sure. But I don't know if pump is the right word. Because when I think of pump, I mean like I'm thinking like give it +4/+4 until end of turn, you know. But not actually putting on counters. Back in the day, the Wizard comic price guide set prices based upon what benefited the publisher's parents who owned a comic shop. I believe it. Dylan! I haven't seen you in a while, Dylan. Who do you think will win the World Championship in MTG? I think... And by the way, if no one heard the controversy, Wizards accidentally leaked all the deck lists for the World Championship. Oops! Now all the competitors can see it. I mean, I don't think it's like that big of a deal. If everyone was locked in on their deck, like who cares? But anyway, they weren't supposed to do that. I think, just based on stats, I think Paulo Vito Dominarosa is the favorite to win the World Championship. He's just the strongest on the highest level. He has the most finishes, he's gone the deepest, he's won the most tournaments. It's simple as that. So he is the favorite. But like the thing is, when it comes to like who's going to win, it's such a probability game. Like I would give Paulo Vito Dominarosa out of, I don't know, how many competitors are there? I'd give him 15%, which doesn't sound like a lot, but in his field it would be a lot. And then, you know, an 8% would go to another person, and like 7% would go to another person, another 7%. So I think he's a big favorite at 15%, but it's hard to tell he's going to win. Like, I think he'll win 15% of the time, which I think is going to be higher than everyone else. Thoughts on Delver of Secrets in Modern? Unplayable. There's too many cards better than Delver of Secrets. It's too hard to... Okay, it's not too hard to build the deck around him. Way too hard to protect your Delver. That's basically it. It's just way too hard. And no value. No other value. And it's hard to set up. If you draw Delver on turn 4, you're just trying to blind flip him from there. And we don't have many good tools. And outside of Dragon Rage Chandler, I don't think we've got the tools to flip a Delver reliably in Modern. And the proof is in the pudding, actually. When Modern Horizons 2 came out, everyone tried to jam Delver and Dragon Rage Chandler in the same deck. And the decks were working, except they all unanimously agreed that the deck performed way better without Delver. And they eventually started playing around with like Ragavan and Murktide Region. And in the end, this is what the Delver deck looked like. So it started off as a Delver deck, but then they just dumped Delver because it was just a crappy card in comparison. So RIP Delver, I don't think it's coming back. I don't think it's coming back. Did you see where all the world's lists were leaked? Yeah. I mean, I heard it. They all got leaked, but I didn't see them myself because I'm not interested in watching the tournament. Tutor instead of search your library. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. Instead of searching your library, and that's what it is. Every single time you search your library, you're tutoring. Tutor for a... So when you crack Scalding Tarn, tutor for a mountain or island card. That's a really good one. The Storm's still viable. How far down are you on the list here, Storm? How far down? How low will we go? Oh, it's not too bad, actually. 0.8%. It's as bad as Merfolk. So, we'll say it's viable. It's viable. Not hyper competitive. It's a good deck to jam online. It's a good deck. Still a good deck to jam, but I mean, take it for what it is. Its best days are past. I'll just say that. It can come back. It can come back, but the best days are past. Veto counter without able to be countered. That sounds a bit niche. There's not that many cards that, like... There's not many counter spells that are uncounterable. Mango Hub, thought on any cool Pioneer decks. Modern is a bit out of my price range, and I'm finally moving near a local game store, so I want to build something. So here's what we got here. I don't know what you would consider cool. Like, I like Spirits. I own this deck. Man, they don't properly... I guess the coolest... You know, probably the coolest deck is just Niv to Light. I mean, you get to play with massive card advantage. Your 5-color deck. You get to play with all these wacky cards. This is probably the coolest thing that you can do. It's actually not too ridiculously expensive. I mean, it's the price of an old Modern deck. Modern decks back in the day. This is probably the coolest deck that you'll play. But I mean, if you look briefly here, I mean, this is what you have available to you. We have Izzet, Phoenix, Burn, Spirits, Control, I'm guessing? Yeah, Control. Rakdos, Pyromancer, and Niv to Light. Oh, and then of course the Jund Sacrifice. Damn sacrifice cards. Ugh. Historic is infecting Pioneer. It's only a matter of time before it infects Modern. Thoughts on Delver of Secrets in Standard? I mean, I don't know. It can be a good card in Standard. I mean, the deal is this. Delver needs to be accompanied by some other cards that are sort of good on their own without much support. It's like, because the thing is, in a Delver deck, you need to build the deck with a lot of spells. I don't know if Standard can support... I don't know if a Delver deck will have enough win conditions, because you can't just have Delver of Secrets. You can have, like, 8 win conditions, even though that's pretty light, but... you need more than that. Good morning, Nate. So I would say Delver is a good card and could be a good card in Standard, but is the deck overall good enough? Keith Stoles, does Lithoform Blight kill Urza Saga? Would it be painful against Cavernous Souls? Wondering if I should have it in the sideboard against other decks besides Tron. I don't even know what this is. Enchant Land. When a Lithoform Blight enters the battlefield, draw a card. Enchanted Land loses all land types and abilities and has tap, add a generic, and tap, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. Yes, it would get blown up. So the deal is with Urza Saga, the important thing is that this thing is a saga. But if it loses all its abilities, then it's going to lose the saga. How does this work? No, wait a minute. It's a saga. It can't change, but it's going to lose all these chapters. And then because he loses all the abilities, it's not even on it. How does this... I don't remember now how this is... It's going to sacrifice it. Damn it. No, I think it's a saga. Ah, shit. I don't remember how this works anymore. It has to do with... Like, the saga's going to recognize that there's no chapters on this thing. And if there's no chapters, you have to sacrifice it or something like that. It's a very bad explanation. Yeah, please explain. If only I could. But if it loses all the abilities, they're gonna sacrifice this Urza Saga. Okay, let's use Google. Why do I sacrifice my Urza Saga? It's not a layers thing. Okay, here we go. Why does Alpine Moon kill Urza Saga? Blood Moon causes Urza Saga to become a mountain. This is setting a land subtype to basic land type, so it's covered by the comprehensive rules. If an effect sets a land subtype to one or more basic land types, and the land no longer has its old land type. That is a very bad explanation. Can we have a better one? It has the fact... Okay, here we go. A saga's final chapter is the greatest value among chapter abilities it has. If a saga somehow has no chapter abilities, its final chapter is 0. So if we make it lose its abilities, it has no chapters, and you have to sacrifice it. If the number of lore counters on a saga permanent is greater than or equal to its final chapter number, and it isn't the source of a chapter ability that has triggered but not yet left the stack, that saga controller sacrifices it. This state-based action doesn't use the stack. So, let's say it has one lore counter on it, and then we make it lose all its abilities. Now it has more lore counters on it than it has chapters. Boom, you gotta sacrifice it. Yeah, we lose the chapters, but we have the lore counters. There we go. Thank you, Google. What is the right type of deck to include gemstone caverns in it? Combo decks, usually. Combo decks want to use gemstone caverns because they don't mind the card disadvantage because they're going to blow you out of the water in a few turns, and they might need the speed that they get from getting a land in play on your turn. Basically stealing the play, as they would say. Vampire Hexmage can kill Urza Saga with its ability. If the number of lore counters on a saga permanent is greater than or equal to its final chapter number and it isn't the source of a chapter ability, I don't think it would. Because if you, let's say you use the Vampire Hexmage to get rid of all the lore counters, then it just doesn't have any lore counters, but it's not greater than or equal to the number of chapters, because there would be 3 chapters on here. And if you go to 0 lore counters, okay, it's not greater than or equal to the number of chapters, which is 3. Yeah, we just reset it. You'd give them more constructs. Yeah, Hexmage resets. So it sounds like some tech that you could do in a Hexmage deck. Just play Hexmage on your Urza Saga, and boom, you have more. You can make more constructs. That would be a feel-bad moment in a tournament. Sack the... I'm going to sack my Vampire Hexmage on your Urza Saga. And then I'd be like, okay. Removes counters. It resets it. Trust me, I've tried. Yeah, we got to learn the hard way, people. Hey, let me tell you, everything I know in Magic, I learned the hard way. I learned that... Yeah, I know I learned the hard way. I think Tutor already exists for one of the digital-only mechanics. Maybe. Oh, Nathan Sloan, thank you very much for the super chat. But you know, you're allowed to ask a question. Oh, here we go. Ideally, it's in the super chat at the same time. Best tips for a new Merfolk player. You gotta play. You gotta play a lot of Modern. If you've already played a lot of Modern, I mean, first off, watch my videos. That'll help. Be part of the Merfolk community. There is a Merfolk Discord. I don't have a link to it at the moment. You can find it. Like, there's also... being part of the community is a big deal. Let's see. Merfolk... Fish MTG is the Reddit. And I think from here you can find the Discord. State of the subreddit? Oh, that doesn't sound good. 14 days ago. I'd like to say how proud I am to have built this community. Hard to believe it's been over 6 years since this subreddit went live. I just want to say I appreciate all your input, candor, and diverse opinions over the years. I'd like to thank Rothgar and Rogue Penguin for their service when I went into my burnout hiatus, as well as their contribution to the community. Rothgar is a huge rock in the community. Both will continue to serve as moderators, but I believe both are fairly inactive here on Reddit in general. I'll do my best in the coming weeks and months to keep an eye on this subreddit and try to breathe a little life back into it. I think Discord is a great platform, but I think there's a place for this type of game for an archival and searchable base of information, which you don't really get with synchronous platforms. If anyone has any suggestions or would like to help out, let me know. My inbox is always open. Also, if you haven't already, please join us in Discord for a great and lively discussion of all things Merfolk. Cheating us. Oh, I thought it was gonna be like, okay, we're closing the subreddit. So there's a link over here, Merfolk Discord channel. Join the Discord. There's a lot of good, passionate Merfolk players there. And also, just ask questions. You know, this is my deck, this was the matchup, this is what happened. Ask questions. Asking questions is the closest you're getting anywhere. And you gotta play. You gotta play a lot. This deck requires a lot of experience. A lot of experience. You have to jam like a lot because it's a lose and learn deck. All right. So you're gonna lose. You can tell people your experience. What am I doing wrong? And then learn from it. But now, like, if I were to give you some really good actionable tips, in my opinion, and I've always been like this, I'm still like this, I try to play around as much as I can. If there's something I think I can play around, I'll go for it. Unless the matchup really is about speed. Like, if it's about trying to win as soon as possible, which it very rarely is, that's usually, like, not even against combo decks, that's always the case, because you need to hold up interaction, because the deal is, everyone's faster than you. Like, you're faster than nobody in this game. So you have, your best bet is you always have to interact with them. And if you interact with them, then you have to think about, okay, what could they play against me here? If I make this attack and they kill this creature, is that going to be good for me or is that going to be terrible for me? So maybe I don't attack, or I just attack with one creature, or I hold up the mana for this counterspell so I can attack with creatures and not play out more. So, I mean, I try to think like that. Thanks for the super chat. Hope that's some useful stuff. Mystic Repeal for Urza Saga? Put target enchantment on the bottom of its owner's library. That's good. That works. Yep. That there works. That will do it. No, let's not forget, people. Urza Saga is an enchantment. Blows up to, like, what is it? Nature's something. Nature's Claim. GPGP. A modern format rules committee would work. What am I missing? So the question is, who's controlling this? I think Wizards of the Coast wants to control the ban list in Modern. They don't want, like, they don't actually really want the community to control it like they do with, which they sort of do with, I guess the community doesn't really control the list in Commander, but, like, the Commander players, the Commander rules committee is not designing the cards or anything like that. So I think there should be a Modern format rules committee, but I think Wizards wants to control that power. Have power over us, mere Modern players. Oh, is Lithoform Blight good against other lands like your Cavernous Souls? Not really. That guy can still add mana. It's not that great. Because you sort of Stone Rain me, but I still have access to colorless mana, so it's not terrible. Wait, there are discords for archetypes? Where are my Stompy bros? Well, so old maybe they are at MySpace? Maybe. I mean, the thing is, Merfolk was one of the very first... It was like the first community. Like a pretty big community. We made the Reddit. We made the forum. We made the Discord. We made the YouTube channels. We made it all. In my opinion, the best discussions around specific archetypes happen in the Discord servers nowadays. Oh, also, all the active... Just want to make... Yeah, I mean, the Discord is actually really powerful. It's really strong. To talk, I think the active Merfolk channels right now... I mean, we still got me at Nikachu MTG streams. So, I mean, you can still find Merfolk here. Although now I'm branching off into Decklist review stuff. Well, that's going to stop, because now we're paywalling it. So you see Merfolk content here. You can find Lord Magicus. Oh, it's all one word? My apologies! He's got, I mean, it's all basically, well, maybe not exclusively Merfolk. He's got some video game stuff mixed in here. But a big one is M. Hayashi. Ah, shit. Does he call it M. Hayashi? I think he's calling it Magic Matt. Magic Matt, I mean, branding would be a lot more consistent if you just called it M. Hayashi. Everyone knows you as M. Hayashi. I mean, if you look up M. Hayashi, I mean, you'll find it. But he's definitely one of the best Merfolk players. And he's posting Merfolk content regularly. Although his decks... Well, they're legitimate. They're really off. They're really off the wall. Maybe I'm missing someone, but I don't know. I think I've nailed everyone who's posting Merfolk content very regularly. Can you review my deck? You picked at random. Sorry. Unless you pay the money. We now actually have paywall decklist review. Send $25 USD to paypal.me/NikachuMTG. In the comments section, leave a link to your deck list in the comments. Submit it, and you're going to be guaranteed not only a deck list review, but I'll play your deck on stream. And then it can be glorified here. Like all these other wonderful archetypes that have been glorified. Let's hold on. Where's you can be glorified like Modern Tokens and Mardu Stoneblade and Crashing Creativity. What else? Zombie Sacrifice. I think this deck is very, very real. Asmo Reanimator. That game actually went really well. And we actually won with Altar of... What is this? Altar of Brood combo. So weird. $25 US. But otherwise, the freeway is through Decklist Review. Yes, it is. That's why I make it 25 USD. I asked for the USD. So I become rich in Canada. Yeah, Merfolk Joe also still has some good beginner videos. If you can dig for them. They probably can be found on the Discord. There might be some pinned post. Hayashi is the type of person who would make a 35-minute video justifying the inclusion of Hammer of Bogarden. So, Bogarden in a mono red. Yeah, but he also makes it work. And also the other people find that they can make it work as well. Ed Leos Ang asking again because my question got interrupted by a fly yesterday. But how would you evaluate the recent affinity list that topped? I think it looks like junk, but like it made the top. So, here's the thing: it looks like crap to me. It doesn't look like anything special. But the fact that it is such, how can I put it? It looks like such a smooth brain list. Let me see if I can find this list. Okay, hold on. It is such a smooth brain looking list. It looks really stupid. Maybe this is not it. Maybe it was the one on Saturday. Yeah, this is it. This is such a, like, Frogmite. It's just like, it's literally just a bunch of artifacts, and affinity for artifacts, which were unplayable in the past, so why would they be playable now? The only really good card here is, like, Thought Monitor, and everything else just looks like a pile. It's just too, it's so primitive. But now, that being said, it made top 8, and you know what? I gotta respect it. So I think people need to experiment with this deck to see, is this hitting on an angle that the metagame cannot actually handle? I mean the numbers don't look dumb or anything like that. So I mean the numbers look fine. And maybe there's this, maybe people were making their affinity decks too fancy and they should have just went brute force smooth brain mode. Is it as smooth-brained as the Bolt U deck? It is on equal terms, that's for sure. But, just Googled, there actually is a small community of Stompy players in the Discord. Nice. Congratulations. There's somebody for everyone out there. That's what it is. Anyway, so I think it looks like really primitive. It's got the results, and I think people should play test it to see to see the extent of it. Matt Wazix, how are you playing all these different decks? Do you have the max value for mana traders? Well, they're not that expensive. Like most of these decks, I think the most expensive one was 800 ticks. And honestly, if I really needed to, I would maybe cut the cost on some of the cards by just owning, like, I don't know, fetch lands. Worst case scenario, I mean, so far everything's been within my limit. I do not have the max value, but if worst case scenario, I probably could just ask them for the max value and be like, hey mana traders, you see the value I'm doing for you? Okay, can we up my rental limit, please? Okay, you got capiche? They probably would do it. Probably. Now that being said, do not test me by submitting a deck that's like 1,600 ticks. Someone literally submits, like, I don't know, Battle of Wits deck or something like that. That'd be terrible. That'd be just absolutely brutal. Tolarian Community College is a Merfolk enthusiast as well. Yes, but he does not publish regular gameplay on Merfolk. He loves Merfolk. I mean, I guess maybe some of his EDH decks are Merfolk. It's the closest we're going to get out of him. Is 4X Repeal sideboard good in any meta? Yes. My favorite meta for the 4X Repeal would be ones where there's a lot of 1-drops but 0-drops. So think tokens, think like creature tokens, food tokens, anything with zero mana in the cost. It can even include some creatures that are 0 mana. And I think if you're able to bounce, tempo anyone out for 1 mana and draw a card, that's big. That's a huge win. That's a huge win. So I've liked Repeal when there's a lot of stuff I can bounce for 1 mana. Trey Weatherman, top of the morning. What's the most cost-efficient way to expand your modern collection? Cost-efficient way to expand your modern collection. There's, like, no good way to answer this question. Like, okay, the most cost-effective way is you own the mana base. Just own all the lands. That's probably the best thing I could suggest. Own all the shock lands, the fetch lands, maybe some other dual lands, and then same thing with maybe the, like, unusual lands, like have Cavernous Souls, Unclaimed Territory, have Glimmer Void, have common lands that are staples, and then it won't hurt so much when you have to buy everything else, because the lands are unlikely to get banned, but the problem is everything else is. Everything comes and goes over time, but the lands, the mana bases stay. The only land that might be vulnerable to getting banned is Urza's Saga, so I mean, maybe stay away from that one, but for the most part, because there were people back in the day, they tried to own everything. They wanted to be able to play anything in Modern. So they had Liliana the Veils and Snapcaster Mages and Lightning Bolt Kolaghan's Command, and they had Ether Vials, and they literally tried to own everything. But the problem with this is, like, the decks come and go too often. So if you want to be in the best position to maybe play anything, you probably should just have the mana base for everything, and then over time you just buy the staples if you really want to change decks. Tommy says, if one thing in Magic's taught me in real life, always invest in good real estate. Yeah, it's true in life. It's true in true in Magic. All right, you heard the music, people. It is time for Decklist review. So, if you want to be eligible to be chosen at random for Decklist review for free, you go into my Discord. Sorry, go into my description. There is a link to my Discord. Then you join my Discord. Then you go to the channel Decklist Review. Use the command !review deck space. Give the URL to your decklist, and then you're gonna be eligible at random for Decklist Review. Now today, we've got Paywall Decklist Review. All right, so today we actually have somebody. We have Jesse. How do I get back here? So anyway, I'll leave this up here, but then we will get into Paywall Decklist Review, which if you want to be guaranteed for your deck to be shown, you spent $25. Well, whatever, I'll get into it. So anyway, use this command in Discord. But right now, we're going to start it all off with Paywall Decklist Review, which means if you pay me $25 to paypal.me/Nikachu MTG, and you leave a link to your deck list, you're guaranteed to be on Decklist Review. And we got Jesse here today. I better like zoom in a little bit. I don't think anyone can see shit here. Can we see the cards? Oh yeah, we can. This is not too bad. So we're here on it's Titantron by Jesse, and we're gonna actively change the cards as we go. We're not actually gonna have to change too much because Jesse's deck is pretty solid up front. Is there a limit to the number of paid deck lists per day? So far, 1. I'm only going to do 2 deck lists a day. So far 1, and then, like, I would part them out. If I somehow have 1 million deck lists, you better believe deck list review is going to be super paywalled. Just going to go straight up paywalled. But right now, we have 1 customer. We just got 1, so it hasn't gone to shit yet, people. Who knows? Maybe it'll turn into. I'll have paywalled for the first 4 days of the week, and then it'll be free Friday or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so we got Titantron by Jesse, and that is Karn the Great Creator, 2 Ugin the Ineffable. We have 3 Walking Ballista, but here's the spice here: Conduit of Ruin. It's a 6 mana 5/5 Eldrazi. Whenever you cast Conduit of Ruin, you may search your library for a colorless creature card with converted mana cost 7 or greater. Reveal it, then shuffle your library and put that card on top of it. And also, the first creature spell you cast each turn costs 2 less to cast. This is actually amazing with Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. If you can always, by turn 4, play Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, that is going to be a beating. That is just a beating. You want gold medals? I used to calculate. It's not calculated like that because I'll play a match with this list as well. So you definitely get your deck list review, but you're also getting a match. So it could take, I might spend up another like 50 minutes. But it's probably going to be between like 20 to 40 most of the time. So you get to curve Conduit of Ruin into Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger. I think this is a very strong interaction. I think that is very creative. I've never seen this being done before. And all that you had to sacrifice in a like, this is just a traditional Tron deck. All you have to do is sacrifice like some Wormcoil engines. You didn't really lose that much. And I mean, sure, you don't have like Oblivion Stone, but you do have Allah's Dust, which is totally fine as well. So, the main deck, I didn't find any problem with the main deck. I don't mind it. It's good. It's strong. It's solid. We got Warping Whale, All Is Dust, Land, Blast Zone, Cavern of Souls, which is nice. It's a nice touch. Forest, Sanctum of Ugin, Urza's Mind, Urza's Power Plant, Urza's Tower, Yavimaya Cradle, which can turn everything else into a forest, basically into a forest. I've been playing Tron for forever, and cutting Big Karn and Ugin seems super loose. Why play Karn and exile one thing when we can play Ulamog Ceaseless Hunger and exile two things? And of course we have Emrakul the Promised End as well. It's a different take on Tron. Now there was something I found a bit awkward. Okay, so we have some standard stuff in the sideboard for your Karn, the Great Creator. Waiting in the weeds. What the hell is this? Waiting for the card to be uploaded or something? Anyway, this is supposed to be a Chalice of the Void. Is Walking Bliss here? Oh no, Basilisk Hollow was here. Ensnaring Bridge, Oblivion Stone, Force of... The only thing I find poor here is Force of Vigor. Like, why Force of... Like, here's the problem with Force of Vigor. It sounds good. Destroy, you know, you can play it for free, destroy two things. You don't have enough green cards. In order to play something for free, you need at least 16 cards of that color in your deck. You have, after you bring in Force of Vigor, you're only going to have 10. You're only going to have 10 green cards in your deck. 4 Ancient Stirrings and 4 Sylvan Scrying. So you actually don't have... I don't think you can play Force of Vigor. It's literally a 4 mana 2-for-1. But I think you can do better. I mean, you might as well play Creeping Corrosion at that point. Morning. Did I beat it? No, I have not beat it yet. I might spend all Saturday trying to beat it. So what can we suggest for artifact destruction? Like, don't they use Nature's Claim? I could be wrong, but don't they use Nature's Claim? And maybe that's just what needs to be done. So, I mean, we're definitely going to take this out. And I think... Oh, do I need to edit this? Oh, here we go. I think they use Nature's Claim. Where'd that Nature's Claim go? Oh, is that they use Natural State? Alright, now I'm just gonna start looking up Tron Led. Like, what is the normal artifact hate that they use? Maybe they use everything, I don't know. They got Nature... Yeah, they have Nature's Claim. Because it's just 1 mana. It's easy. It destroys everything. It looks like Wilt is a good one as well. So, I mean, you could choose one or the other. Wilt. Okay, well, let's go with Wilt. I like the idea of cycling. And maybe the life total will matter. Oops, I'm lost. I'm lost. I need an adult. Here we go. I've seen both a lot to be honest, but here we'll get Wilt instead. Oops, did I put this in the main deck? Okay, this went to the sideboard, so we're gonna have 2 Wilts. We'll take out the 2 Nature's Claims, and boom. Okay, so and the other thing is, I don't know where exactly you want you might want Kozilek for the mill decks, right? You have 1 mill. And I don't know exactly where you bring Blightsteel Colossus in, but, like, whatever. You have the option to bring that into your hand through Karn the Great Creator. So I think that's fine. And I think that's it. I mean, I think this is really cool. This is a very unique take on Tron. And maybe it can even open the door to, like, some new routes with Eldrazi Tron. This could be, like, a new way of playing Eldrazi Tron as well. I never saw anyone try to play this card, but the combo between Conduit of Ruin and Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, I think is a little bit too good to ignore. I think it's a little too good to ignore. So anyway, thank you very much for submitting the deck list, and we will play that on the stream on Sunday. All right, now we go back to the regular non-paywall deck list review. And let's go take a look at our random list for today. Pokemon Stadium 2. Pokemon Stadium 2, congrats. You're the next on Decklist review. Shout. See ya. welcome from Dublin. Okay, red-green Eldrazi Ponza. That sounds cool. Thought Not Seer, Reality Smasher, Karn the Great Creator, Ancient Stirrings, Lightning Bolt, Natural State. Why do we got this in the main deck? Straight to our artifact or enchantment. Is this just for Urza Saga? A Braid, Ancient Grudge. Oh, interesting. Liquid Metal Coating and Torque. And you have 3 of them here because you put the last one in the... But you don't need all of them. Like, you can put a Torque in the main deck because you only need 1 of these in the sideboard. Because you're just ideally going to tutor 1 with Karn the Great Creator. And you maximize what you can over here. But to be honest, the numbers look pretty good. I would say... Do you need Lightning Bolt? This is such an original deck. I'm just trying to think, like, if we bring in the Torque in the main deck, is this too many? Is 7 too many? Is there any way we can discard them from our hand? Can we utilize extra ones of these? I don't think we can. So the idea is you turn our opponent's stuff into artifacts, and then we blow it up. Ancient Grudge is perfect because you get to destroy the artifact and you flash it back. You play a Braid. Is there anything else that gives us, like, extra... Gorilla Shaman, unfortunately, is a creature, and it's vulnerable. It's like a very weak creature. Den of Bugbear. Till end of turn, becomes a goblin. It's not bad. But it might not be good either. Keep in mind, this is a 3-color deck. This is like it's a 3-color deck. Although, hey, it's possible this mountain could be it, or maybe not, because you need something for Field of Ruin. No, maybe this. This is actually, it's such a clean list. Now, how's the mana? This is 4, 5, 9. Oh, yeah. This is really smooth. See you later, GP. Bolt is good for the early threats that need to be addressed immediately. Yeah, it's true. It's true. I'm just wondering, do we have enough of these? Well, I mean, I guess Karn the Great Creator counts as well. I'm not really interested in changing anything here. See, what do we got? Chalice, Pithing Needle, Relic, Shadow Spear, Liquid Metal Coating. I don't know how good Shadow Spear is in the sideboard. Ratchet Bomb. I would say, I don't think you need 2 of these. You just keep the Liquid Metal Coating and get rid of the Torque and put something else. Andrew Brock. Well, here's the deal. You need to win the game somehow. So how are you going to win the game? What is the win condition? Good morning, Renru. Like, it's possible that you do take it out. But then what do you replace it with? Like, what's the win condition? It can't be just Karn the Great Creator. And these are beefy creatures. I mean, it's possible maybe some Reality Smashers should be Endbringer, because that's an even larger creature. Like, it's a better win condition. That's why I suggested the Bugbear. It's a bit clunky, though. This deck could have Force of Vigor, actually. This could be a Force of... Oh, maybe it still can't. We still don't have enough green cards. You need 16 green cards to make pitching a card even remotely worthwhile. Like, that's apparently the minimum number. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. I think the Shadow Spear is a bit dubious for a sideboard card. I don't think it's that necessary. I don't think you need both of these. You just need one. Because you're just going to get one with Karn the Great Creator and that's it. It's not like you're going to lose it and then you need another one. If you really need another one, just draw it. So just have Liquid Metal Coating. So take out the Torque and that'll free up a sideboard slot. This is fine. This is... Why? Why? You need Ramp? Like, get rid of this. Choke is fine. And Snaring Bridge, good. So get rid of Talisman of Impulse, the extra Torque. What can we put in instead? What do you guys think? I mean, it's possible in a deck like this, because we have so many green sources, that you could place Force of... Oh, you know what? You know what? I would do it. You know what? Maybe I would play Force of Vigor. Maybe I would play Force of Vigor in this deck. Because this deck has enough green sources that you could reasonably get to 4 mana and then Force of Vigor 2 things away. I actually could play Force of Vigor in the sideboard here. I mean, and maybe if Force of Vigor is good enough, you could even have it in the main somehow. But, I mean, the main looks pretty tight. Collector Roof. Hey, that's not bad. Oh, no, but Collector Roof would screw over your artifacts, too. You can't... You would never activate Liquid Metal Coating again. Okay, that don't work. That don't work. No, I really don't like Abundant Harvest. You name land. Okay, whatever, you get a land. You name non-land. You're going to get one rand. You're going to get a creature when you wanted a spell, or a spell when you wanted a creature. So actually, you know what? Maybe we could play Force of Vigor in the sideboard, and that would be an amazing 2-for-1. And you don't need to play it for free. This deck would not need to play this for free. If you have the opportunity, not too bad. I don't know how easy it is to get a 2-for-1 with this, but I could see that as a sideboard card. But I just know this Talisman seems pointless, and the extra liquid metal is pointless. And play blue in Prismari Command, so you get rid of the gut the green. You know, you might be onto something, but we do get a huge boost with Ancient Stirrings, and also Ancient Grudge has the flashback. I'd run stuff like Reclamation Sage and those guys, the new Werewolf. Also more green for Force of Vigor. That could work. I think this is a cool idea. I think this is a really cool idea. Oh, Destructive Revelry, I don't know how much better it is than a Braid. A Braid kills a few more things and definitely destroys the artifact. Well, let's look at Destructive. I haven't seen the Destructive Revelry. Maybe there's some... Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Deals 2 damage to that permanent's controller. It just doesn't hit creatures if we needed to hit creatures. It's not a bad suggestion, though. Especially for a deck like this. It might be better than Natural State. Maybe. It's not enough Eldrazi or Ponza. Whatever, that's the deck. That's how it is. Anyway, I would just change up those sideboard cards. I think this is a really cool idea. Very original. Good luck with those suggestions. All right, everyone, that's it for today. If I didn't get your comments, questions, or deck lists, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. If you'd love to support the channel and you don't do so already, you could become a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. You could become a patron at patreon.com/NikachuMTG, or you can hit the join button on YouTube. You just keep doing what you guys do. You throw some donations this way, blah, blah, blah. You know the good stuff. So thank you very much for joining me, making me a part of your daily routine. So keep brewing up that magic, everyone, and we'll keep brewing up the coffee. Take care. I'll see you guys next time.